Welcome to our first video in our intro series. This is the Spirit Farm Group Experience. I am Caleb Anderson, and I am thrilled that you are jumping in. Now, as we went over in the intro video, by the way, if you didn't watch that as a group or as a family, I would encourage you to do that. Just lay the foundations for what we're about, the values, how to think about this group time and experience. Watch that. It's 5 minutes, super quick. But then what I want to lay out in this first video is an expectation for what these group meetings will look like, okay? From the standpoint of, I'm gonna teach for just a few minutes, 2, 3, 5, maybe 6 minutes, and then I'm gonna throw it to you, because the most important thing is group conversation, is you getting to know the other person or people that you're sitting with. And maybe you're watching this and you're gonna have a conversation or a Skype phone call later, and that's all good. But the key is connection, that you're connecting with your God, with yourself, and with someone or other people. And so really my job is just to facilitate conversation. At the end, I'm gonna throw it to you and you can read through the PDF questions or online or on your phone, whatever it looks like, and you can have meaningful conversation. That's the goal. Let me jump in here with what we're calling Out on a Limb. I wanna tell you about a story when Jesus was walking on this earth. He encountered a dude named Zach. You're gonna read it. It's from the biography written down by a guy named Luke in chapter 19. But let me just summarize it for you. There was this guy named Zach who was very small. He was a little dude, like up to your belly button little, and he was insecure about it. He had been small his whole life, no doubt picked on. He had some sort of a small man's complex. He was trying to compensate for his height, for his feeling of inferiority all his life. And he was really good with finances, and he figured out how to make money. He sold out his fellow Jews to work for the Caesar, for the Roman Empire that had occupied the land and was controlling and oppressing the Jewish nation. So the Jews, not big fans of old Zach. Zach was despised. He was hated even because in addition to the exorbitant taxes that the Roman Empire was laying down on the Jews, Zach charged an extra little Zach tax. So he would line his own pockets in addition to the perhaps 70, 80+% taxes being charged by the Roman government. So Zach, he maybe had in his journal names of people that had made fun of him when he was little, and he was, I'm going to get you for more. I'm going to up your taxes by 10, whatever. He justifies it in his own heart and head, and he squeezes these people for everything that they've got. One day, he's sitting at his little tax table, and he hears the buzz, the swarm of people that are surrounding the famous Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus was so famous in that region. It was like Bono and Oprah and Steph Curry, like all in one, are visiting your town, and everyone is just mesmerized, hanging on every word, following him, trying to get as close to him as they can, and he's coming this way. Zacchaeus, he knows he's little. He gets up, he tries to look over shoulders. He can't see Jesus. He looks ahead, the path. He does a little geometry and figures out, okay, if they go this way, I need to get this high. He sees a sycamore tree and he climbs up in it. Side note, Jewish men in that culture did not do such things. This was a very undignified move for him to climb a tree, right? And it reinforces his small man complex that he already has. But Zach was desperate. Even though he had everything, he was wealthy, he had money, he probably paid girls to hang out with him and go to games with them and, but whatever. He had what the culture would say was everything. But he was empty. He knew that there was something about this Jesus. He wanted to get a glimpse. He was willing to be undignified, go out on a limb, quite literally, of a sycamore tree just to see this Jesus. Now, we all have issues. We all have insecurities. We're all trying to compensate for something. So whatever your context is with your spouse, family, friends, small group, whatever it is, understand that this is a condemnation-free zone. This is a guilt-free, shame-free zone. Everyone should feel the ability to express insecurity, to talk about what's bothering them, to talk about maybe where they feel that space inside that's unsatisfied. Zach did, I do, we all experience that. And on this day, Jesus has a date with Zach. He doesn't even know it. Jesus walks up, stops, and this whole crowd, flat tires everywhere. And Jesus looks up at Zach in the tree above him, calls him by name, Zach, I'm going to your house today. Come on down. And everyone that knows Zach, like the infamous tax guy, is like, what? Are you kidding me? Zach? That guy? He cheats us all. He's taking us. He's wealthy. We're poor. And it's his fault. He takes extra money. He's a terrible human being. Why would you? If Jesus knew who this was, Jesus says, Zach, you're my guy. Let's go. Spends the day with Zach. By the end of this encounter with Jesus, Zach is a different dude. The scriptures say, you'll read it, Luke 19, that he gives back to everyone 4 times what he had stolen from them. 4 times how he had abused his position and taken extra money because he could. He gave back 4 times as much. Because when you meet Jesus, it screws up your math. And all of a sudden, you just have experienced grace and love in a way that you can't even comprehend. You're just like, I want everyone to have that. You get your money back. You get your money back. You get 4 times as much just because I want you to experience the joy and the acceptance and love that I have found. It's ridiculous. So, for you, for your context, for your day, for your week, would you consider going out on a limb and being willing to take a look at this Jesus, maybe in a different way? Maybe you never have before. Maybe you have for a long time, but this is from a different perspective. You're in a season, perhaps, where you need to get a little bit different glimpse, where you need to take a risk, go out on a limb, and be willing to see if this Jesus, if he's the God of the universe, maybe he would have something to say to you. I'm going to throw it to you and a conversation that you're going to have with whomever you're with. I hope the questions serve you, and I'll see you in the next video.